Is it recording now, Steve?
Yeah.
Are you fucking sure, Steve?
Steve, what happened to you doing your job?
Wow.
You guys expect a lot of me.
You're the only one who went to school for this.
I get my own lines now.
Yeah. You have your own lines. Are you happy?
Obviously, I thought I was going to be part of it. I thought I was going to be part of it.
Podcast
Oh, the
now?
podcast
Yeah.
I thought I was on?
You happy with all your own lines?
What a prick.
We couldn't share lines, Michael.
I'm just talking way over
They-
here.
they
to
would
try
have
to
heard
get
you in
into
the
Steve's
background.
mic.
Yeah, they would have heard you in the background.
Like, this is Steve and Danielle and the Peanut Gallery.
We're like, what do you think, Michael?
Well, the other day, it was really cool when you let me be friends again.
Hey, Steve, am I allowed to talk yet?
No, Michael. We'll come back to you in a minute.
But I finished my snacks.
I don't know, Michael. I see a pretty full plate over there.
I don't wanna.
Oh my god.
When you finish your broccoli, you can be back on the podcast.
I like vegetables, though, so it's not a big deal.
All right, fine. Your asparagus.
It's also a vegetable. I don't mind.
Your anchovies.
That's not a vegetable.
I also would eat them.
Your...
There's not too much.
Do you know what anchovies are, Steve?
They're fish?
Yes.
Yes.
So why would you...
I don't know. I was trying to think of things that he wouldn't want to eat.
I've
I thought you were specifically listing
I've done near
vegetables.
everything since we're doing the old Texas movie here.
You ever done there eat a crocodile?
That's not the Texas stuff, but okay.
Yeah, but you could find a Texas in crocodile land.
Oh, I know what he wouldn't want.
Get that one backwards there, Steve.
He wouldn't want a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks.
Michael, you ever done drink a
Those are
pumpkin
gross.
spice
Yeah,
latte?
exactly.
Those
so
are gross.
You have to drink a gallon now.
Pumpkin spice latte?
Yeah.
Ugh.
When you finish
Ugh.
your pumpkin spice latte, you can come back to the podcast. And I want to see you eat the whipped cream, too.
Blood simple. Blood simple.
I still can't believe the guys who did.
But it's not that simple.
yeah, this
It's
was the
just
most
blood simple.
complicated fucking garbage that took forever.
From 1984, Blood Simple is one of the strangest movies you'll ever see. Not only because everything moves in slow motion, but also because you have no idea what's going on the entire time. You should go see it right now.
In theaters now, Blood Simple from 1984. The 4K,
Rated R.
The 4K restoration.
The 4K restoration.
Watch as this old-time movie is brought into the modern era. It is
With
the-
4K.
And watch it
High
not hold
definition.
up at all.
Watch those crystal clear details as you are bored to shit by the plot. Welcome to...
Just kidding. There's no plot.
Oh, wait. This could have been wrapped up in about an hour? Oh, shit. We better add 35 minutes of silence. Welcome to Blood Simple.
I think
Yeah, what do you think?
we should all
Okay.
What do you think we should all
Yeah.
do?
the podcast
And?
in the timing
Uh-huh.
of the dialogue
Yes.
in this movie.
That would be interesting.
So, what you're saying is we should really draw this out.
Welcome to every film in the book.
That was delivered fantastically.
Thank you.
Not bad. I might add. This week's movie choice
is
really bad.
I thought you were going to say the name.
It is Blood Simple.
Yes, it is Blood Simple.
Now, and I know what you're thinking at home. Why the hell are they talking like morons? Let me explain to you that is how every line is delivered in this movie.
Every single. Well, yeah, just about everyone.
Well, I mean, I guess that's not true. We should be saying them with very strong Texas accents for only like half of the characters.
Right? Just half.
Yeah.
Probably not even half.
Yeah.
I think certain characters just use the accent sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seemed like the main guy used it, and then the weird like cowboy private investigator / assassin also had a very thick accent.
Yeah, but also there was only like 8 people in this movie, so yeah. So at least like 4 of them had a Texas accent.
Yeah, so I mean 50%, you know. You got to give it to the Cohens. They really knew what they were doing back then.
Yeah. So this movie, we basically were scrolling for what, maybe an hour trying to pick something to watch for the podcast.
Honestly, you know what? I kind of have a bone to pick with HBO here for a second. Fix your Shark Boy and Lava Girl streaming, because apparently it doesn't work.
Yeah, we were going to watch that instead. And when that failed, we were like, what can we watch? So we just started scrolling and we found a random movie. I saw Blood Simple and I was like, is that the title? Is that the whole title, really? And yes, it is. It is called Blood Simple.
Yeah, come to find out that it must be the Coen brothers' first movie. Because, like, this is the same guys who did No Country for Old Men and, like, all those, like, you know, good movies. And then you got Blood Simple.
This one's a little different. A little different.
But, yeah, no, like, I wish we were kidding when we were saying that, like, that stunted way of speaking we started off the episode with was not actually how they talked. But, no, that's pretty on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, it was a couple scenes there where they were basically saying like one paragraph of dialogue and it took them like 10 minutes to do it. Like, and it really felt stretched out. This was an hour and 35 minutes. It felt like 2 hours and it really could have been done in 45. So
in all honesty, there really wasn't that much dialogue in this movie at all. But it felt like the, you know, inflated runtime. It felt like so much longer than it actually was.
Yeah.
It felt like so many more words got spoken, but no, just the gaps in between words were 3 to 5 seconds per half sentence.
Yeah, there were so many times I was like, all right, come on.
It's
What
like,
are you trying to say here?
Out with it.
If they weren't dragging the speech out, if they were by themselves in a shot and unsure of what was going on, they walked really, really slow.
Yeah. Like
and everything
super
was
slow.
super slow.
And they actually literally slowed down some of the footage for like dramatic emphasis, I guess. But that just stretched out everything even
on top
more.
of the already slow for dramatic emphasis regular stuff.
Like,
right.
We noticed at home you really like things drawn out. So watch this hammer fall to the ground in 24 frames a second.
Yeah, and it's in like the suspenseful category. But, like, that was a lot.
Honestly, the suspense was just me waiting for them to talk again. It's like, what are you going to say?
Because they don't talk for so long.
Yeah.
And you see a bunch of, you're like, well, now I need an explanation, please. Like, I felt like we were just waiting for explanations of what happened. And then they'd talk, and it would take forever to get not nearly the information we wanted out of them.
I will say, I don't know what the budget was for this, but I think
like $25.
I think 90% of that went to the shoe sound effects.
Oh, they were everywhere. They were everywhere.
It was
Lots of dripping sound effects.
Dripping
too?
and shoe noise. And I noticed that everybody in this movie wore the same pair of shoes because everybody sounded the same when they were walking.
And this isn't a film that has, like, there's no walking down the street scenes and stuff like that. There wasn't a whole lot of background noise, so everything was deliberate. So everything was deliberate. So the I guess noise choices they went for was kind of interesting because sometimes it just didn't fit.
Yeah. So basically, the suspenseful parts of this movie are like 5 minutes of it where like it involves murder and you're not sure what's gonna happen and you're actually like, oh shit, what's gonna go down right now?
This is nuts.
Like there were a few moments that actually surprised me with how like interesting they went with their choices. Like I don't know, I still can't tell if I really enjoyed it or if I did not. I guess I'll figure that out while we go through the movie.
Yeah, I mean, like it's almost like a revenge plot, but also not revenge plot, and also
wow. But you get a little what do they call it? A little stab in the back by the hitman dude. Like it's just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the movie basically opens up with this guy and a girl in a car, and they're driving along, and the girl's complaining about her wife, or her wife, her husband. And the guys who's in the car with her is just like, I'm not your marriage therapist. I don't give a shit.
And he
about
definitely
your
doesn't
husband.
repeat that line 7 more times during the same car ride or anything.
This is like a repeated motif where they're just like, what are you, a marriage therapist? And he's like, well, no, sir, I am not. Please
like
stop
out of nowhere.
accusing me.
Yeah. We get no background on who these people are or how they know each other.
No. But
yeah,
they're just driving down this road, and she's like, oh my God, I can't stand my husband. I don't know how you do it. And he's like, I'm just his employee, ma'am.
I'm not married to him.
I'm not fucking him either. I don't know if you have heard, but I am not a marriage therapist.
just in case you didn't know that.
I don't know if you guys noticed the windshield, the amount it was raining.
Oh my God, they were driving through a hurricane.
You're not having a
quiet
casual, very
like,
reserved.
Oh, it's really coming down out there.
Yeah, the only conversation you're gonna have is, honey, I think we're about to die. I can't tell if we're on the road anymore, but good luck to us.
But it wasn't acknowledged. No. I don't even think you could hear it. Like it definitely was not as loud as that would be.
Yeah,
and it was just like a regular tone conversation.
Yeah, like kind of like whispered a little bit too.
And even in a car, there's road noise.
Yeah,
and they were just kind of talking, having a good conversation.
Yeah. And she basically brings the conversation around to, well, I kind of want to go home, but I also kind of want to fuck you. So like, what do you want to do?
Well, he said like, I've always liked you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he's pouring out his feelings.
Yeah. He's like, well, I've always liked you.
Which is weird because you can't tell if this is like the first time this is happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they were kind of candid, and him saying, oh, I'm not your marriage counselor. It's like, you're not talking about stuff like that the first couple times.
Right. Also, it seems like, why would they be in the car together if they weren't already planning on hanging out?
Right.
Like, fucking.
Or maybe one of them was rethinking the decision on doing it. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows what was going on?
Abby, I just need you to know the way the hurricane rains are reflecting off your hair right now. You just look fantastic. Leave your husband for me.
And then they're just like, all right. And then it just immediately cuts to them fucking.
Yeah, they're in some like seedy motel and they're already going at it.
It was a nice motel, okay?
I don't know, man. Did you see that decor? That was cheap.
It was
also in the 80s, so everything looked bad.
Yeah, that's true. But so like it basically just sets up. All right, so some employee and his boss's wife are having an affair, and then we cut to the boss, and you can kind of see why she would want to have an affair on him.
He's not the
on him.
Yeah, well, an affair to him.
There she is affairing again.
Oh boy, there she goes, always affairing.
I mean, he's kind of whatever looking, I guess.
Yeah, but he basically like it cuts to the morning after they do it, and the phone rings. This
was the scene in the trailer that made me go, yes, we're watching this.
But yeah, the dude picks up, what's his name, John? I forget what his name was.
I don't know. They didn't say their names
Ray.
enough for me to remember.
No, he said him like twice. His name was Ray.
Yeah, so Ray picks up the phone and he's like, "Hello, who is this?"
And he's like, I don't know. Who is this?
And then the guy on the other line's like, "Did you have fun last night, you piece of shit?" And then, like, unprompted, he hangs up the phone, and then Ray hangs up the phone, and Abby's laying there like, "Oh, baby, who was that?" He's like, "It's your husband."
Duh, duh, duh.
Revealed in a very different way.
Yeah. It's your husband.
He's your husband.
Just the way he said it was great.
It's funny.
And she's like, "How do you know it was him?" "Well, he didn't exactly, like, tell me his name, but he knew we were going at it. He asked if I had fun last night."
So, you know what that means.
"It's your husband." I don't know how he knew we were in this hotel, but
Yeah.
good job.
But yeah, he's definitely freaked out a little bit. Like, he definitely stands there for a little while and collects his thoughts.
Yeah. And, like, you know, it's shown that this husband, after he hangs up, he's meeting with, like, the private investigator that took pictures of them having
Right,
sex.
because it cuts right to his meeting.
Like, it's almost like there was no time in between. He already had the pictures developed, and, like, this was literally the morning after, and he's like, "Here, look at all this stuff I got for you. They were doing it in this position and this position."
Yeah, he immediately, no condolences or anything like it, immediately just starts poking this guy that just found out his wife's having an affair or whatever.
But I couldn't tell if he was actually hired by the husband or not, because he came at the investigator guy like, "Well, what'd you do all this for?"
Yeah, he's like, "I knew they were together. Why would you take pictures of it?"
Yeah, so I
Right.
was like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
Did
Well,
he
I
hire
think-
this guy? Or
I think he hired him to follow him, but
like initially.
but he's taking pictures because he's like, well, now I can get more money out of him because of what they were doing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and he wouldn't want pictures like that around. He's
Well-
a seedy bar owner.
No, he's the Good Samaritan. He was just like, I noticed your wife was going home with someone else.
So I photographed them making love.
Hey,
I thought you'd appreciate it. It's like, well, that's not really how it works.
like, did she ever do this position with you? Well, how about this one? Oh man,
Wow.
she's real flexible for this one.
that's seriously the tone that he was
Yeah.
hammering the boss with.
Right.
In his
And then he
bright,
laughs at his face.
yeah, in his bright canary yellow fucking like cowboy
Right, with his
suit.
10-gallon hat.
It's like, ha, your wife's cheating on you. Hold on.
Anyway, that'll be $10,000 to murder them. Thank you very much.
Which
Yeah.
is
Literally what happens next.
basically the conversation.
Yeah. But like, so after this scene, like all the scenes are cut like very quickly, yet it takes forever to get through them. But like this next scene, like, Ray is like, "You know what? I gotta go see a guy. Abby, you stay here and I'll be back whenever." And she's like, "No, please, you can't go back to the bar. Like, you can't go see my husband. He's crazy. He'll kill you." And he's like, "Baby, I gotta go see a guy." Which is like tough guy code for like, stop asking me about my shit, dude. Like, come on.
Come on.
Come on, babe.
I gotta do man stuff. Yeah.
I gotta go see a guy about a thing. And don't worry about it. Toots.
And then he goes back to the bar and
Yeah.
he confronts the husband.
And when they first show the inside of the bar, there's like the guy laying on the bar.
Yeah,
he's like
fucking passed out.
never gets addressed, and they show him multiple times.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
So he just lives there.
He just died on the bar one day. They just
Well,
left
and
him there.
we see the bar owners at their home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or the bartender is at home at some point. So we know the bar closed at some point.
Yeah.
But
The dude's
he's
just
back there
still-
again later on.
Oh, it's funny.
Like, oh yeah, that's old John. He
That's-
never leaves.
That's John's napping spot.
He comes in, he passes out, he doesn't even order anything.
Right? He just pays for the chair.
He slaps down a crisp $20 bill and then he sleeps for about
Takes a
14
nap.
to 16 hours.
He sleeps like a cat. It's crazy.
It's kind of weird.
But yeah, so, Ray goes up to this husband and is just like, "You're going to fire me or should I quit?" And the guy's like, "I don't give a shit what you do, dude. I just found out you were fucking my wife."
Right. It was.
Yeah.
It didn't feel that uncomfortable, but it definitely felt like a weird conversation because we're not really sure. Like, we know what kind of movie it is, so it's like we're kind of waiting on all right, well, what's gonna, who's gonna end up being the bad guy or whatever.
Right.
And we all know that there's gonna be
Ah,
like an assassin after them.
Yeah, and
well,
there has to be some
loosely an
tension
assassin.
in order to get to murdering normally.
Right. But yeah, like after this whole confrontation, like the guy's like, "Hey, I know I just fucked your wife, but I've been meaning to talk to you about this. You're about 2 weeks late for my paycheck.
Right.
And, I would like to collect that now if possible."
And he's like, "Seriously, dude?
He's like, no.
Fucking
No.
for real, dude?"
It's like, "No, dude, I'm not gonna pay you." Like, "No, but I mean, OSHA would really have a problem if you didn't pay me my 2 weeks."
What's he tells him? He's like, no, she's an expensive piece of ass or something.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not paying you.
Yeah, and then
Get outta here.
as he's walking out, the guy's just like, "Don't come back to my bar again. I will have to shoot you."
What is that accent? You
Right, he just
suddenly
went
got
Spanish.
Was he not? He kind of had like a Spanish thing going on, maybe?
He was Texas.
He was Texas?
He was
Oh,
Texas.
man,
He was
the accents are
Texian.
so off in this movie.
He was a Texan.
Texan.
All right, so he was more like, "Oh, we don't come back to my bar."
Yeah.
Yep,
Just
nailed
like
it.
that. Steve, you're really good at accents. Has anyone ever told you?
Yeah, sometimes. Oh, we.
Oh, just like us Texans.
When you come to Texas, you come to my bar, I shoot you. We. Oh. Oh.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Blood
Yeah.
simple.
Oh, blood simple. So Ray goes back to Abby and it's just like, "Hey, we gotta get out of town. Your husband's gone crazy. He's gonna kill us. He's got an incinerator outside of his bar."
This is like the first of the 2 times we see them moving. Or
Yeah.
one of them moving or threatening to move. Don't you? What, do you want me gone then? Later on. And
Can we just talk about how insane it is that this guy has an incinerator outside of his bar, which is just a dumpster?
I think-
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
it's a dumpster
Yeah.
on fire. It's not really an incinerator.
Well, because when he's talking to the dude about killing
Well,
his,
yeah, he tells
his
him
wife,
put
he's
the
like,
bodies in
he's
there.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I have an incinerator out the back.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, who just has one of those and not just
Yeah,
call
dumpster
it like,
dumpster fire's not getting the job done.
Yeah,
for
it was literally a
cleaning up after
dumpster
bodies.
on fire.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wrote that in the script, but they're like, should we change? Like, hey, throw the bodies in the dumpster fire out back.
Or they
They're
just,
like, call it an incinerator. That sounds more official.
Yeah.
I think they just didn't know where to find an incinerator. Like,
they lit
It was 1984. It wasn't.
yeah, and they lit a dumpster on fire, and they're like, "That's a cool
they're like,
background
nope,
shot."
that'll work.
But yeah, so Ray and Abby are like, "All right, we got to get out of here." So they end up packing up and leaving, and this is where the husband's like, "All right, I'll pay you $10,000. You got to kill my wife and her lover."
Real normal conversation. It was a little.
It's
it was
like,
a little
all right,
goofy.
you want me to murder them? I'll murder them for you. Give me $10,000. Meanwhile, they're just sitting in a bar.
Yeah,
Like,
but the whole
Right,
thing
casually
is,
talking.
yeah.
and he's just like, if it ain't illegal and if the price is right, I'll do it. And then the guy's like, "Well, it's not legal." And he's like, "All right, well, if the price is right, I guess I'll still do it."
Right.
Oh, actually, they were sitting in the car at this point.
Oh,
They
yeah,
were
yeah,
they were
yeah.
in a car.
Yeah, they talk.
But,
They talk
yeah.
a good bit, but it's just weird because we know there's supposed to be tension. Obviously, there's tension. He slept with his wife, but they had a fairly civil conversation.
Yeah.
And then the weirder conversation was with the guy, the first time with the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time, felt like a normal conversation when he's like, "Oh yeah, so I'll murder him. Yeah, can you murder him? Yeah, I'll murder him. Thanks."
Yeah, no,
All right.
that's like me inviting you to like a diner and being like, "Hey, Michael, how's it going? Hey, I got 10 grand here. I need you to pop a couple guys."
Right? But
The server comes up. What? I'm sorry. What was that?
Yeah, sunny side up with the eggs, and also, Michael, if you could bury them in my incinerator out back, that'd be great. Oh yeah, black coffee too, please.
so later on, what's kind of weird about this conversation being so civil is later on he does show like some emotion towards the decisions he's made.
Right.
And he gets sick at one point, but this was just a chill conversation to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on you're not sure if maybe he made the right decision, but you're
Right.
like, you were so calm about it earlier at the
he
start.
was-
Like it was stone cold about it. Like, yeah, just, if you could murder him, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Like,
like way
before
too chill.
Tuesday would be great.
And
And then later
yeah.
on, he gets like a little weird about it. And you're like, come on, man. Like you had him
Like, he literally gets nauseous and pukes after seeing pictures of his now dead wife and the lover. And, like, he literally is like, oh, God. Like, he didn't think it was going to happen. It's like, you told the guy to do it.
Yep.
Did you think it wasn't going to happen?
Listen,
Then it kinda
if you were
sinks
like,
in.
Here's 10 grand. Go walk my dog. And I can't, like, you came back to pictures of me walking your dog, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be sick.
Right?
You just,
Why did I pay you 10 grand to walk my dog?
I don't know. I'm a really good dog walker.
My sessions are very pricey.
Listen, I play music for them. I carry an umbrella if it's raining.
But yeah, so, like, basically the scene where the alleged murder happens is, like, I could tell pretty much right away that he didn't really actually shoot them. Because you just see him going into the bedroom as they're laying in bed, and you see a flash, and I think they put like a camera sound effect in there instead of like a gunshot going off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, okay.
It was weird.
It was like,
it was weird.
Yeah, you didn't really think that it actually happened. Then you
Right.
see the pictures, and then, you know, at the end of that scene, the private investigator shoots the husband.
Yeah.
Like, out of nowhere.
Like, I don't understand his reasoning for shooting the husband. Like, he got paid.
Right.
It's like, is he just covering his tracks? Like, you're gonna squeal. To
Well,
the
he
police.
does. They do make a point in their conversation to talk about, like, can I trust you? I don't know if I can trust you. You might tell somebody. How do I know you're actually going to do it? Oh, well, how do I know you're not going to tell somebody? Because they did go back and forth with that a little bit.
Yeah, it's the constant.
So I guess that's pretty, from what we're shown, that's kind of the best answer, I think, is
Right.
he was like, oh, well, he got it in cash. He got paid.
Well, and at that point, I thought that the wife and what's his name?
Ray.
Yeah, I thought that they maybe somehow got in contact with the private investigator, and like he then like double crossed the husband.
Yeah, because there's no reason why this guy doesn't kill them.
Yeah.
He just kind of is like, you know what? I'll give them a pass. I'll just fake their death. on this
Yeah.
one.
And
He
then
fakes their
I'll
death.
use
Kill 'em
Adobe
later?
Photoshop.
Yeah, and then he comes back unprompted to kill them later.
Yeah.
I still don't get his motive. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
that's his thing. He just like tricks people into hiring him so he knows he's going to have his money, and then he kills them, and then he sees what money he can get from the people that he
but the way
didn't kill.
the way they were talking, like they've known each other for a while. You know what I mean? Like they felt like
right.
friends almost. In how much he let him prod him at the
Right.
beginning.
I think we're missing the point here.
I also think
obviously
we're thinking about it
Michael
way too
Myers.
hard.
Yeah.
No, he's obviously Michael Myers, and he just kills because he's pure evil.
Yeah, he loves killing.
Yeah, he's got the devil's eyes.
Well, no, we
and the
never
Texas accent.
we never get any explanation to anything. I don't even think we know what town they're in.
They're in Texas. That's all you
Yeah,
gotta know.
they're in
that's all you
Texas.
They're in a seedy small town Texas
bar.
bar.
Yeah, there's not
and
many
there's-
specifics in this film.
Yeah,
not
but
a
there's
whole lot of specifics.
But there's a chaotic chain of misunderstandings, lies, and mischief.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
We're reading the description on HBO right now.
But yeah, so like after the dude shoots the husband, and you know, for some reason the Ray shows up at the bar at this point and immediately goes into the back room, I guess, to confront this guy. I guess he realizes, oh yeah, the husband always works late on a Tuesday. Like, better go see him. But like, you know, he discovers the dead body and instantly tries to start cleaning it up.
Yeah, like weirdly, and then somebody comes up to the door and he locks the door.
Yeah, and then they just start playing the jukebox like in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I don't. He's like, hey, I guess he's not here. What night is it? All right, whatever. Fucking play the music.
yeah, I guess they're like, hey boss, we're opening up.
I got $1.50 in my pocket.
But it was strange that he definitely was surprised. So we kind of knew he didn't do it, but then he picks the worst things to clean blood up with
Yeah,
ever.
He takes his
He
jacket
has
off.
and it's like, it's not like a thin cloth. It's like a jean jacket almost.
Yeah.
He's trying to clean up
And he's
blood,
like
and then
spreading it around the
washing.
floor.
He's rinsing it out in the world's smallest sink ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand why he tries to clean it up, and then at some point he decides, well, I guess I'll go bury the body, and he like shoves it in his car.
Well, like the only reason like I think he's doing this is like they kind of say it later, but like it's such a stupid like swing and a miss moment. But like that gun he finds,
that's her gun.
Is her gun.
Yeah,
so
that's
I
her
think
gun.
when he finds that, he's just like, oh shit, she killed him. Let me hide the evidence. But he does a terrible job at hiding the evidence.
Yeah, wait, how does the gun get there in the first place?
Because you know when the guy like is faking the murder,
yeah,
he pulls the gun out of her purse.
Yeah, he steals it and then shoots him with it. And then the affair guy finds it and immediately is like, oh, we got to cover this up. And I think that's why later on when he's trying to talk about it with her, she's confused. Obviously, she doesn't know because she didn't kill him.
Right.
But...
Well, I mean, if you came bursting through the door and you're like, don't worry, I cleaned it up the best I could. We'll have to get out of here now. I put him in the incinerator. I'll be like, all right, Michael. Wow.
And I'd be like, I forgot I murdered somebody again. This is not good.
It's like, man,
this is twice this week.
We've been drinking a lot lately.
We've been drinking a little bit extra.
What happened?
I need to drink more water.
Yeah. But like, you know, so after he buries the body, he goes back to Abby and
well, can I just say about that whole scene, that is one of the first times they really drag something out, is the process of him going from the bar to burying this guy takes so long. Like, there were a few moments where I thought he was going to do something crazy, right? So like he gets the guy in his car and he takes him out in the middle of nowhere, and then he like freaks out because I think he hears him breathing, and he runs out of the car.
He pulls over and just gets weird.
Yeah, and then the guy gets out of the car. The husband like crawls out of the car and comes back around, and then he like pulls a shovel out, and you think, oh, he's gonna beat him with the shovel, and then he doesn't. And then like a truck comes by, and then like you think he's gonna like throw him in front of a truck or something, but then he puts him back in the car. Like, it was just this whole stretched out scene of insanity.
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then he buries the dude alive.
Yeah, and like that whole thing took so long.
Movie wasn't that long. It didn't take that long. It felt like it took forever. Felt like it took forever.
This 5-minute long scene felt like it took like 25 minutes to just bury the dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he gets back and he's all freaked out because he's like, oh my God, I just buried a dude alive.
Right.
And like
he did what he had to for us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you know, at least we did this together and it's for our future and we can tell our kids about this someday.
And she has absolutely no idea what he's talking about.
She's like, Ray, what are you talking about? We're not going to have kids. He's like, yeah, but we got to tell somebody about the guy we just murdered together.
Well, he doesn't come out and say it for a while, and she's just left in the dark for like a few days.
Yeah, because
strangely goes along like. I wouldn't be around you if you're acting weird and doing all that kind of stuff. Can't get a straight answer.
Yeah, because like he basically leaves her in this room, and he like puts the gun on the table and is just like, hey, you left your weapon at the scene, and like walks out, and you're just kind of like, does he think she killed him? And then like this he's all mad about it now because he just had to bury a dead body.
I don't think they really address her with that gun much or anymore,
because the only time she handles the gun again is at the very end.
Yeah,
and it just sits there for the rest of this hour-long runtime.
Oh God. Yeah, so then what happens, Steve? I forget.
Oh my God. Well, basically the dude's all freaked out now, and then there's like this like weird like subplot where the boss somehow called like the bartender and was just like, hey, a bunch of money went missing.
Right.
And like this, you know, I'm not saying it was you, but like, you know, you should probably
you were responsible for the bar that night.
Right. And like, you know, then the bartender drives up to Ray and is like, hey man, you got to get out of town. Like, why would you steal the money? Like, and this plot doesn't really go anywhere.
It goes nowhere.
At this point, the husband's dead and all this stuff. If they'd have shifted that like
a little
28 minutes earlier into the movie, I feel like it would have made sense. But I feel like they filmed it and they were just like, oh, we forgot to put this in.
Go back and shoot this one.
Here. Put it here.
there's this other scene where, the bartender is taking care of Abby, and he's like, don't worry, he called me, like the boss called me after he got all jacked up. So you're like,
Right.
So what? This guy got shot in his office, and he picked up the phone. He's like, "Hey, Bob, listen, I'm not saying it was you. Sorry, I'm bleeding out here."
No, but he sounded fine. He sounded fine on the phone.
Yeah.
Like he didn't sound anything like dead. He
Yeah.
didn't sound dead at all.
But that's just kind of like, all right. So either they put this out of order, and like the scene was supposed to come earlier, or they
We're
were
missing some genius plot furthering device that just went way over our heads because we are not worthy.
Yeah,
But
no.
literally,
Really.
Those are the two options. We'll go with those.
Yeah, and literally, but this plot goes nowhere. Like, because the minute the bartender speeds off after confronting Ray about stealing the money, we never hear about the money again. It's
Nope.
never brought
No,
up.
and as soon as we know she didn't kill him and he didn't kill him, we're like, okay, well,
Like,
they're not in on it with the other fella,
Right.
so
Yeah.
what the heck's going on?
Yeah, and we know what's going on, but yet also we don't know what's going on.
And then he tries to murder him, but then kind of fails. Here's the bartender plot, and okay, here we're done. Oh, more movie coming. It's like
Yeah.
what? Like where did these three disjointed plot lines come in?
Yeah, this movie doesn't really have a clear outline of like where it's going. There's no like main conflict that you're
Right.
building to. It's like all these little things that just keep unfolding.
Yeah, but like all of these things all seem to like end up with, Ray going back to the bar, the hitman going back to the bar, and then, Abby going back to the bar. And every time they go back to this bar, they uncover like one little thing that like lets them know.
Of the 5 pieces of evidence we get through the
Yeah.
whole movie.
But basically at this point, the hitman goes back to the bar, and like he notices one thing that lets him know, oh, Ray was at the bar or something. Like, I think he was
Right.
like parked outside as Ray was leaving. So he's like, all right, shit, I'm going to go kill that guy. But like Ray goes back to see Abby, and Abby's just like, hey, what are you doing in my apartment with the lights off? So she turns them on, and instantly the guy is like, the hitman is across the street with a sniper rifle already ready to go.
Perfect position.
Lined up. And you hear him fucking...
Yeah, and like you like the camera just zooms in, and you're just like looking through the scope, which is of course is just like the cross across the screen.
Trained on the window perfectly.
So like,
turn those off.
yeah,
And
so
she's like, why? Why did I turn the light out?
I can afford my electric bill. Don't think that I
It's like-
can't.
It's one thing if it's just like a regular day.
Yeah,
Right.
But
if
not
you
if
came
people are
in the
being
door-
murdered.
Yeah, if you came in the door and you're like, shh, get down, turn the lights down. I'd be like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, I would immediately be like, okay, I will
Yeah.
listen to you.
Well, she teases him and turns him back on,
Yeah,
and
and
she
because of that, Ray gets
he gets
fucking
blasted.
Yep, he gets blasted.
Yeah,
And then she's like, oh my God. And then it takes her another like 10 seconds to be like, maybe I should get down and duck.
maybe I should turn the lights off, like Ray said.
Well, they do that whole gets her in his crosshairs, and then she runs away just in time. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like,
And then
cool.
instead of turning the light out while she was like leaving, she starts throwing her shoes at the light.
she would have
to
gone in
break
front of the
light bulb.
window and got shot, so she had to break the light bulb with a shoe,
Oh,
so
God.
this
as one
hitman-
does in that
Yes, yes.
situation.
But yeah, so this hitman magically crosses the street in about 5 seconds
Yep.
because
A
Yeah,
lighter.
he was like on a mountainside, and then he's suddenly in their house.
yeah, like
He's very
with-
speedy, very speedy,
after,
very efficient.
After he takes the shot at her and she breaks the light bulb, about 3 seconds pass, you hear another window break, and this guy's already in the apartment, like on her floor, which I'm pretty sure she's on like the 3rd or 4th floor.
Right.
That was a cool moment though when you hear him like coming up the stairs and she's kind of like freaked out. That was one of the moments of suspense where I was like, okay, this is kind of something.
Right.
Yeah, but then once he came in the apartment in his bright canary yellow cowboy outfit, I was like, oh, dude, you're not scary. Like,
Not very
come
scary.
on.
No.
That's not a hitman outfit.
Yeah, no.
No,
Like
not
a
a good one at least.
Especially not if you're trying to creep around at night. Like,
Yeah.
you're so
Bright
vibrant.
yellows.
Neon jogging wear with the reflective bands on it.
Oh, but she does get this guy pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he goes after her, and I forget what happens first exactly, but
Well, she like hides in the bathroom.
yeah.
And she climbs out the window, but climbs into her neighbor's apartment.
Yes.
And he notices, the window to her neighbor's apartment is like slightly open. So he starts opening it more. And that's when she like grabs his hand and like slams it into the window and
It was a
fucking
great moment.
stabs his hand into the windowsill.
Stabs it in there. And so he has to either rip his hand out or somehow get his hand out of there. He first starts shooting at her, and she's just literally standing in the room, not moving, just watching him shoot bullets through the wall. I'm screaming at her, move,
like,
just
"Get out
go
of there."
elsewhere.
It's funny. He doesn't like dump all the shells immediately. It's just like bang. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, and then he count to 4 again, then shoot. But they show you all the like the 6-shooter or whatever.
Yeah.
So the whole it takes him 30 seconds to shoot to empty his gun. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was not in a hurry at all.
No.
But yeah, and neither is she, because she like slowly walks out of the neighbor's apartment, which, by the way, where the hell is the neighbor during all this?
Yeah, right. And how did she get in?
Yeah.
I mean, how did she? Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we don't see anyone else in the film, so
Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
town left.
Yeah, the whole town's on vacation.
They
while
weren't
this
kidding
is all
about the
going down.
small town.
Yeah, you see nobody else.
Nobody else in it.
But yeah, so she's like slowly walking out of this apartment and like walking around it back into her apartment, and like she's hearing him struggle, and like she sees her gun sitting on the table where Ray had left it. So she grabs it, and our hitman finally like he punches a hole through
Right, I was gonna
Oh,
say, like, doesn't he
pretty
just start
resourceful.
punching the wall
Yeah.
and
Oh.
eventually get through it?
I mean, good for him. I mean, he got his hand
That's
out
dedication.
without ripping it through the knife. So.
Yeah, well, a lot of films do that where they'll
make
rip it
you
out or
rip
make
it
it
out.
be
Yeah.
really great. Well, he had to put a little work in, but
Yeah,
got it out way smarter.
They also made that part really elongated, where he's just slowly pulling the knife out of his hand, and he's like groaning and screaming.
But yeah, so like she's in the apartment and she sees him, the light on in the bathroom. So she like just kind of like slides down the wall and is just sitting there waiting, and she's got the gun pointed at the bathroom. And like the hitman's just so like, all right, I'm gonna creep out and surprise her with this knife. She'll never know I'm in here.
Right? I'm super sneaky with it.
And, but he forgot he was wearing his loud ass shoes.
Clip, clop,
Right?
clip.
Tap dancing to do some more murder.
Oh, and she gets a great shot in and shoots him through the door. Like, he doesn't even open the door yet.
Yeah, just pops him right in the tummy.
Yep,
then he
she pre-fires
falls over.
him
Yeah.
and smacks him with it.
Prematurely firing.
But she's just like, I'm not afraid of you, ex-husband. And the guy just starts laughing. And he's like, ha ha, when I see him, I'll let him know you said that.
Right?
Yeah, and then it's
Weirdo
like,
starts
dun,
laughing
dun.
again.
Her face is like, what?
What's
do you
going
mean?
on?
And that's it.
Yeah, that's Blood Simple.
That's
I
all.
think one of my favorite things is when Canary Suit bad assassin guy is dying. They spend so much time at his point of view, like what he gets to look at as he dies.
Under the sink. He's looking under the sink.
and it's not a nice sink.
No.
It's like a small town dive bar sink, so it's like kind of dirty. And he was laying there. I was just thinking, I was like, that's the last thing he gets to see.
Yep.
And the film ends with condensation from the pipe,
Like about to
dripping
drip.
down. But it's just like, oh man. And you can see him kind of look at that and be very disappointed, and then just die.
Yep. And then title screen.
Yeah, Blood Simple.
Yep.
I don't know, Cohens. I'm glad you got better.
You gave it your best try, bud.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if I could do any better, but I feel like I might be able to somewhat do about the same.
Right.
Oh, so yeah, did you like this movie, Steve?
I definitely watched it.
You watched it.
Yeah.
Right. Should we cut this off as weirdly and as abruptly as the plot changed in this movie?
Let's go.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. Blood simple.